morning, everybody. Welcome to Toastmasters Club 511, Parliamentary Procedure in Action, Robert's Rules of Order. Before we get underway this morning, you probably wonder, why would we be doing something like this on a Saturday morning? Well, I appreciate you coming out, guests and Toastmasters, to be here today. Parliamentary Procedure and Robert's Rules of Order are a great way to facilitate and have effective time-saving meetings. When we were first practicing for this, I recruited my sister-in-law. Now, she's used to me calling her and saying, we're doing something this weekend, because I'm pretty active. I'm involved in local politics and different things, volunteer things. She said, great, on the 23rd of May, I can be there. I don't see her. She said, what are we doing? I said, this is Toastmasters. We are going to have a workshop on Robert's Rules of Order. Now, this was over the phone, mind you, but I could just visualize her face dropping. Oh, I won't be there, she said. Her impression of Robert's Rules of Order is pretty dry, 701 pages, as a matter of fact. But as her face flashed before me, I thought, we're in trouble. Our Sergeant of Arms during the practice, Dwayne Raines, he'll probably be here before the end of the program. He said, well, I've got an idea. Why don't you present it like Ben Stein? You know the guy, right? The dry eyes commercial? And I thought, well, I'm a props guy. I'm in the sign business for a living, identity marketing for the last 20 years. I do signage and screen printing, shirts, embroidery. I like props. You know the guy Gallagher? He's got one of these. Do you know who Gallagher is, or am I showing my age? She knows Gallagher. Okay, we got a Gallagher. Are you a Gallagher fan? Well, Robert's Rules of Order is one of my favorite t-shirts designs. I did it for a corporation years ago. It's all about turning chaos into order. And Gallagher, his presentation is all about chaos. I thought, well, we could do that. I love props. And he uses a giant gavel, and he smashes pumpkins and vegetables and things. I thought, well, I could find a small watermelon for a bigger gavel. Well, the Toastmasters like the library, and they wouldn't want to messing it up. So Gallagher won't work. So I'll try out Dwayne's suggestion. You do know who this Ben Stein guy is, right? The dry eyes commercial. Ladies and gentlemen, today, for the next 3 hours, we will cover the Millennium Edition of Robert's Rules of Order. 701 pages. Are you excited?
Yeah.
We have to find some middle ground. We have 5 different Toastmasters today presenting each session. Each one of them has a little different style. You'll see that the session the team asked me to cover, I deal with props and signs. But before we really get going, the fundamental principles of Robert's Rules of Order and Parliamentary Procedure are: the votes of all voting members are always counted equally. Absent members and members holding minority opinions have rights. All members have the right to free and fair debate, and the right to know the meaning of the issue or the question. The majority has the right to decide, and the minority always has the right to be protected to speak on the issue. Parliamentary procedure facilitates a transaction of business in harmony characterized by fairness and good faith. I like to think of it as agreeing to agree or agreeing to disagree. I'll get to do the fun part. Who likes history? Another thing my son says, oh, history. That's boring. Well, Robert's Rules of Order, believe it or not, is an American history story. This is what we're talking about, 1876. The manuscript written by General Henry M. Roberts. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But this history story really starts in England, because George Washington's powdered wig came from somewhere. These were all things that were happening in England. Their procedures came over with them. Well, interesting, our third president, Jefferson, You probably think of him of many things, but you probably don't think of him as far as parliamentary procedure goes. Well, back in 1801, he was actually our vice president. Imagine if the rules today were like they were then. If you ran for president, second place became the vice president. Picture the last 2 or 3 elections of who got second place. Can you picture that dimension in the White House? I can imagine that issues of the day were strong then too. So Jefferson found himself as vice president. What kind of job would he do under Adams? Well, in 1801, he started writing a procedure of parliamentary procedure. Now, according to the unreliable source of Wikipedia, Jefferson was not a good public speaker. And I thought that was interesting Toastmaster information. But they said he was a great correspondent. Evidence of that, the Declaration of Independence. Well, these original manuscripts he wrote in 1801 helped a man named Cushing in 1845 put together even more information as the American story continues. Well, Cushing felt that there needed to be a standardization, not necessarily in government, but in all the civic organizations, church organizations, any type of governing body to have a uniformity. Well, in 1876, General Henry M. Robert, coming out of the Civil War, he wrote the original manuscripts for what they named Robert's Rules of Order. Because I thought we'd make it informal, I could call him Bob, but Robert is his last name. Now, rumor has it, because he was a general coming out of the Civil War, that he had a reputation of being a leader. And he had been in several different communities. He was asked to run a meeting. And he thought, as generals must have thought, as we all probably think, everybody at this meeting is going to behave themselves. Well, this meeting, according to his writings, lasted for 14 to 17 hours. Sounds like something Ben Stein would enjoy. So when he realized that there needed to be a uniformity is when he wrote that. And today, the Millennium Edition, written in 2000, it is 701 pages, has over 5 million in circulation. I only know one person that claims to have read it from cover to cover out of that 5 million. And we get to hear from her today as a speaker. So, before I get too far along, Toastmasters has what we call Word of the Day. Our expert's right over here, he's going to stack the words. What the Word of the Day is, every time we have a Toastmaster meeting, somebody is assigned with the Word of the Day. What they do is they talk about that word, talk about its significance and its definition, use it as an example. But today, when we get into the workshop portions, you get to do that too. So when you learn this word, try to use it during the workshop portion somehow when you have the speaking one. Where's the drum roll? It's too quiet. Word of the day is germane. I heard this word already this morning in the parking lot. Germane, an adjective from 1340. It originally meant the parent of. What it means is relevance, pertinent, important to what's going on. Germane. Used in a sentence, it is germane that no matter what kind of body you have, that you stick to the topic.